How do, and welcome back. My name is Andrew Hancock and I'm a VMware technical architect from Yorkshire in the United Kingdom. I have worked with the VMware products since their inception in 1998, so that's 23 years I've been working with the VMware product line. Some of you may say if you cut Andy in half it reads VMware like a stick of rock from Blackpool. I've also written over 100 articles for Experts Exchange and won many other awards and accolades. I am honoured to have been accepted into the VMware vExpert program for the last 11 years and more recently a VMware vExpert Pro for the last 2. How do, and welcome back to part 6 in this Hancock's VMware half-hour series. And today in the next few minutes I'm going to show you how to suppress configuration issues and warning alerts displayed in the summary status for ESXi 7. After enabling SSH or the ESXi Shell. You may remember from part 5 where I showed you how to actually basically enable SSH and the ESXi Shell on your host server. That when you actually basically do this, and I'm going to go back to my my demonstration PowerEd Dell R730 to show you this. Here we go, we're connected basically back to the ESXi host server using the host client. We covered this in part 2 if you need a refresher. Again, all these article links are going to be in the steps and in the description below, should you actually basically want to follow some written content. But immediately after we actually basically enable the ESXi Shell or SSH, basically we get a warning. And I'm just actually basically going to exit maintenance mode on this host. Okay, so you will basically see that we get some warnings. Now personally I actually like to leave the warnings in place. It gives me a reminder that if I've actually enabled SSH and I've enabled the ESXi Shell to do some troubleshooting or checking the signatures of ISOs that we've uploaded to a data store, which we covered in part 3s and part 4, then I like to basically remind myself that I've actually basically left them enabled, so that basically later on I can actually basically disable them. If you do dismiss them, then they will disappear from view and you won't really have an eyeball on whether or not that they are enabled or disabled. And again, you know, leaving SSH open on an ESXi host server, you know, is paramount actually to reducing the security. So personally, I like to leave them enabled. However, if you have left them enabled and the server is actually basically added to a vCenter server, you do actually basically get a little warning light indicator actually basically gets that host suggesting that you've obviously basically got these enabled, and sometimes that actually can mask another warning that may be actually present on the server. For instance, you could have a RAID failure on a disk, or you could have a fan failure or an overheat failure or a temperature issue with the server, which would also give a warning as well, and it's somewhat masked really by any warning that can appear, which these are. But anyway, following the article that I've actually basically written, which actually basically shows you how to suppress configuration issues and warnings. This is a lot easier in later versions of ESXi. In the older versions of ESXi, which I'm just going to quickly show you, you had to basically go to manage, and you had to go to advanced settings, and you had to scroll all the way down to suppress the settings, and I'll just show you where that is. So here, basically suppress shell warning is here, and that's another way that you can actually basically do it. You can actually basically just obviously put a 1 in there, and that would do exactly the same thing, but VMware have made it a lot easier for us now to suppress these warnings. So this is going to be a very quick video. So basically we just select actions and we basically say dismiss notification, or we can hit the big X and we can do exactly the same thing, big X out, and there we go, we've dismissed our notifications warning for the ESXi Shell and the SSH enabled. So that's actually basically covered in that article. This has been part 6 in our Hancock's VMware half-hour series. So that's all I've really got to cover in this article. In the next articles, part 6, 7, 8 and 9 is where we actually really start having some fun. If it's not been fun already, where we actually basically start getting down to the nuts and bolts, and we actually basically start installing virtual machines for the first time. So please come back to me in, let me see, part 7. I think this is part 6. So please come back in part 7, where we actually basically start installing virtual machines for the first time, and you can actually basically see how we actually basically put all the things so far that you've actually learned in parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 in obviously connecting to the ESXi host server, uploading an ISO, checking the MD5 signature, and in the next article we're going to create a virtual machine, attach that to the virtual machine, boot and install the operating system. So what fun. Anyway, keep safe out there, and all the best, and thanks so much for watching.